We're back out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm with Phil Schreier, Senior Curator of the National Firearms Museum for the NRA. Phil, we're doing a little series here we're calling Curator's Corner West. We're here in Albuquerque for National Police Shooting Championships. You got some beautiful examples of treasure firearms out here. We're going to talk about these and then a little surprise later on in the series, so stay tuned for that. Something else, no new treasure out here in Albuquerque. So we talked last week about 1911s of note.
Right.
It's a great centennial of the 1911, so what a great time to focus on it. What are 1911s of note you have to show to us?
Well, we've got two that are pretty neat. Both that are, well, 2 out of the 8 that I brought that we're going to actually talk about today. This one is a 1911 that was owned by Admiral Lee. Ching Lee was his nickname that his classmates gave him because of the obvious Oriental reference, but Admiral Lee was an actual distant cousin of Robert E. Lee of the late Army of Northern Virginia. This is a 1911 that he customized. Okay. You can see dished out the thing here. Now on a 1911 A1, this area of the frame is actually dished out on a night, but he did this long before the government started requiring it to be done as a part of the contract. This is a custom dish job here on the frame. There are a number of other features on the gun on both sides. These grips have been reworked. Now you might see this and say, well, that's something that an individual that took a lot of time to do that, he obviously knew what he was doing. That's somewhat of an understatement when it came talking about Admiral Lee. He was the first American in history to win 5 Olympic gold medals.
Wow.
And he did that in the shooting sports in 1920. He earned a total of 7 Olympic medals during his shooting career. He was on the Naval Academy rifle team. He was winner of the Navy Cross, or shall I say he earned the Navy Cross. And in World War II, he was, according to Admiral Nimitz, one of his bulldogs. He was just a tenacious fighter. He was credited with sinking a Japanese battleship and also repelling the second Japanese invasion of Guadalcanal.
Wow.
So, yeah, no small desk hero here. This guy was in the thick of it, both world wars.
And when he wasn't busy, he was customizing.
When he wasn't busy, he was learning how to shoot better, whether it was with a 45 or whether it was with a 16-inch forward turret gun that he used to sink that Japanese battleship. His gunnery skills were dead on.
Wow, and you said this would pre some of the innovations that they were required. Do you think he kind of helped to lead that a little bit?
You know, I don't know if he actually sat on the board that helped change it, but you'll see those show up in an A1 for sure.
Coincidence?
Could be.
What's our next 1911 of note, Phil?
This is one of my favorite pieces in the whole collection, and it's one of the. I've met a lot of great people in the 23 years I worked at NRA, but one of my heroes before I worked at NRA, I actually got to meet there, and that was General Joseph Jacob Foss, NRA president, governor of South Dakota, first commissioner of the American Football Conference, but a Medal of Honor winner and a Marine, and just a fantastic human. I mean, he was just such a great guy. This is the 1911 he carried in service in World War II. And what's neat about it or interesting is that this is a whole hodgepodge full of parts. You know, for a guy that was president of the NRA, you know, a consummate gun guy, outdoorsman, hunter, the gun he carried was put together from 4 other guns at least.
Wow.
First off, these are custom grips. These are not military grips. The military 1911 grips were double diamond wood.
Right.
These are interwar period grips, non-military. Now they look like the World War II grips, but those were all plastic.
And those are wood.
Not real wood.
Right.
Secondly, this is a 1911 Colt Frame. We can tell by the serial number, the inspector's markings. This isn't dished out. But unlike a regular 1911 frame with a flat mainspring housing, this has an arched mainspring housing that's common on the A1 version. So at first look, you might think, but notice that behind the trigger guard, that's still flat as a 1911. Now the slide is an A1 slide. We know that because it was made by Remington Rand, and they only made these slides during World War II. So, and of course, the whole gun's been reblued, but not such a reblue that all the information's been buffed out or flat. It was a nice classic, redo job on the gun. So it's an interesting piece, but even more so is the fact that a true American hero, Medal of Honor winner at Guadalcanal, won this, or earned the Medal of Honor and carried this gun with him throughout his flying career in the South Pacific.
Wow, and what an appropriate place for it to be then.
He was one of our bright shining stars in the pantheon of NRA presidents.
Yeah.
And he was just such a great guy to be
A
around.
man who continued to serve no matter what he was doing.
Yeah, that's
public or
absolutely
private,
right.
he continued to serve. Wow.
That's absolutely right.
Great stuff. So how can people get more information about the National Firearms Museum?
Well, if you're on the interstate outside of Washington, D.C., and that would be Interstate 66, you can visit us at the intersection of that and Route 50, 7 days a week, 9:30 to 5 o'clock. Admission is free, plenty of parking. Love to have you out there. If you can't get to us off the interstate, try us on the internet at NRAmuseum.com. That's, of course, open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and is free as well. And on the internet site, you'll see a lot of little videos that you guys have helped us put together over the years, the Curator's Corner, and tell some of the stories and the backstories you can't get just from reading a text card of a few dozen words.
You get on there now, you might be able to pick Phil's next viral video pick. You never know
Yes,
which one's going to go
video,
viral next.
yes. Help us get to 2.5 million again, please.
Phil, thank you so much for this
John, thank
great
you.
installment of Curator's Corner West.